If you enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we're taking a look at not one, not two, but three of Playmates' giant Godzilla figures in the 11-inch scale. Today we have the Godzilla Final Wars, which is their first giant Godzilla figure, the Giant Godzilla 2021 from Godzilla vs. Kong, and the Giant Godzilla Evolved from Godzilla Kong the New Empire 2024. Now, before I say anything, you might notice that there's a Godzilla missing. What? Can't figure it out? Well, it's 54. Yeah, you probably thought I was going to say Mecha Godzilla, but I guarantee, barely anyone doesn't really think about 54. But really, Playmates released a 54 11-inch tall version. I talked about it on a video once, but I never got it just because of financial stuff, and the availability is a bit wonky where I'm at. So unfortunately, I was not able to secure it. But I was able to secure these three, and once I eventually get that Godzilla 54, I'm going to do another rematch with him thrown into the mix, and we're going to talk about them all over again. But right as of now, this is between the 2004, 2014, and 2024, which I, sorry, 2024, did I say 2014? 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021. So 2004, 2021, 2024. So with that being said, we're going to do another 7 rounders: skeleton paint, articulation, size, accessories, price, availability, and packaging. And we're also going to be taking a look at just the overall build quality of these figures as we go. So without further ado, let's get started. So much like the Kong comparison, we're going to be kind of doing this style, which is just kind of maybe taking a closer look at the figures here, which first and foremost, adjusting my light here, we have the 2004 Godzilla from Godzilla Final Wars. And even though this technically does borrow the mold from the large 2004 Bandai figure that I'm pretty sure everyone is grown accustomed to, especially if you watch my older videos, this guy also redoes the mold a bit differently and adds some new things to it. For example, the head sculpt is a lot more movie accurate, being a lot more elongated and roundish more towards the head area, and giving him more of a menacing eye. The eye itself is actually painted really well with some nice orange eyes and some blue pupils, which may not be 100% accurate, but I do like that color combination. It also features a really well detailed overall head, and the soft plastic, because that is what this is made of, actually has, again, some really good merit to it. And I like it when they use the soft plastic because it allows them to have a bit more detail as opposed to the harder plastic on the body. We have individually sculpted teeth, which look really well done, nicely aligned. Although there's not really much gum paint, but the tongue is decently painted in there and painted towards the back of the throat. No real detail going on the top, although we do have a few ridges there. And going down to the neck, we do have that hard plastic, which makes its triumphant return with this release. And we do get a bit of more smoothed out detail, unfortunately, but again, it's not that bad. It just kind of looks a little off-putting going from very detailed plastic to very soft plastic. Well, soft as in detail soft, not like this is soft vinyl soft. But I will say I do like the way the spines look. Even though the spines are a bit smaller than the other two we're going to take a look at today, it's kind of accurate to the design as it was made to be as slender as possible, but also not make it too anorexic like the 98 Godzilla was. And as a result, we have these amazingly painted and sculpted dorsal plates, which are just so well done and have that nice white spray going down to the tip of the tail, which is one of the few times that a figure company would actually paint its spines to the tip of the tail, and I do commend Playmates for doing that. We have, technically speaking, 5 rows. We have the middle row, the 2 outer rows, and then we have these smaller rows back there, and they all kind of go from the top of the head to the back of the tail. For the arms, we actually have the biceps, which are made of the same kind of sturdy, softer plastic, but still feature a lot of the great detail. In my personal opinion, build quality wise, the Final Wars Godzilla is my favorite. We do have some more nice detailing and some of the nice claw paint. It's just kind of applied on. There's no real shading to it, which I definitely think it could have used a bit of shading. But again, for the time this was released, because they had to rush these figures out, this actually turned out the best in my opinion. The chest paint sculpt looks really well done with some nice bumps and grooves, which is definitely retooled from the original mold, and I do like it. I also like the way they did the legs with all like the folds and creases. Again, even though it is borrowed from the Bandai mold, it's still done very well to the point where it almost again looks like a person in a costume with all the like the intricate little folds, the kneecap right here, and even going down to the feet where you do get the individually painted toes that are also done pretty well. And going back here, we do have a bit of like seam line workage, which it's a little on the cheap side, but again, it's nothing that bad. This claw is also done pretty well. Mine's got a few nicks on it from over time, but that's okay. And going down to the tail itself, not just to the fins, we have all these like intricate little segments going down, and it just again is molded really well. This end piece is kind of like sculpted, same kind of soft plastic as things like the head and the arms are, and the feet especially. So like some of them are made of like rubber pieces, some of them are made of like much more harder plastic, and again it just looks really good. And again, even though there's parts of it where the detail is smoothened out a bit, like underneath the tail and such, you're not going to notice it that much, considering the fact that, at least consistency wise, I'll have to say the Final Wars does have a lot of great consistency to it. Next up, we're going to go over the 2021 Godzilla, which definitely, in my opinion, stands the test of time as far as like the sheer quality of this goes. Now, in my comparison with the Kongs, I gave the 2021 Kong quite a bit of crap because of how really uncolorful and uninspired it was. This actually has things that I like that I didn't like about the Kong. For example, the eyes are still painted pretty well, having a black pupil disc go around it and the orange eyes. I don't know what's with Playmates and giving Godzilla orange eyes, but hey, that's fine. We have individually not sculpted, but painted teeth. Even though it is kind of hard to see, you can kind of see it. We have a nice pink tongue in there, and some nice details on the inside of the mouth. And we do get some nice detail with this more softer part of the head that's a bit malleable. However, going down, yeah, the detail does take a mild dive. It's very slight, though. But surprisingly, the detail at least still holds up in some aspects, because we still have a lot of the nice detail with like the ridges on the neck, the gills, the scaling, and even some mild black dry brushing, like especially like around here where you can really see they actually added like some sort of spray or dry brush, and I'm actually kind of surprised about that. Do I wish it was like that throughout the whole figure? Kind of would do. But again, for what the detail is here, it's done actually pretty well. The claw paint is basic, not too much is going on, but you can see some nice kind of olive green-ish paint applications here. The chest is a little bit on the more smoothened side, and surprisingly, we had the return of the screw holes, which, why 2004 doesn't have screw holes, but this one does, I have no idea. But going back down here, we do have some more of the nice detailing going down onto the legs. I don't know why I struggle with the word legs. I have legs, you have legs. Should be kind of worldwide known. Mine has a little nick. I got this thing used, so I'm not sure if this was from the previous seller or if this was just something that happened in the factory or whatnot. Maybe could have came from the eye. Who knows? Like it right there, but whatever. Nice detail work going down to the feet. And we do have some of the nice painted feet that are not done too well, but again, they could have done a lot worse. I do like the detail and I do like the paintwork. And again, surprisingly, it's not hollowed out, unlike the 04. And what's also nice to talk about are the dorsal plates. The dorsal plates are essentially going to be blue like the radio tower Godzilla. Keep in mind, as far as like color-wise, this is essentially in a larger version of the radio tower Godzilla with a bit more color schemes. But we do have, again, the nice blue paint applications, which makes me like this thing a lot more than I initially would have if it was just plain black. But I do love all like the spray and such on the inside and the outside of the fins, because you can kind of see some blues kind of seeping their way into the back. And again, it just really looks like it's glowing, which I do love. And it's like that throughout the whole back, except until we hit the tail, where from here to here, it's just basic kind kind of like bluish gray. But we do have a interesting pose because it kind of goes straight, but then it kind of curls in this way, curls back this way, and then swoops back to normal. Very interesting pose. So it's really almost like Godzilla's walking through a city, like letting his tail drag through it. And it really kind of gets you wondering, like, what's Godzilla doing? Well, really, it's all up to you. Because he has a stance where he's like one leg to the back, one leg to the front. Kind of like what this Godzilla and this Godzilla do, except he has his tail upright, he has his tail kind of to the side. So really, this is kind of interesting, I'll say. But overall, as far as like the sheer quality of it, it's definitely like plastic wise, not the best. I kind of prefer the 2004's plastic quality. But for the overall sculpt, I'll say this: it definitely has a bit more, tad bit, um, just about, I would say, equal as far as consistency. But as far as the sheer quality of the sculpt, I'm gonna have to actually kind of side with 2004 on this. But let's talk about Evolved Godzilla.